Hey, what's up, guys? Today's conversation, we're going to talk a little bit about turning. More specifically, though, what I see you guys not do in your golf swings that help you turn, why turning is important, and then from there, like how we should go about turning. So, if you have any questions throughout the video, drop them down in the comments. Just like last video, I'm going to encourage you guys to grab a couple things, potentially follow along. You might need a couple golf balls. I'm not going to hit them necessarily. Couple alignment rods would be pretty good, and then over time maybe a club, but for sure a couple alignment rods would go a long way for today. But without any further ado, let's get into it. As we get into turning, I'm going to toss my club aside here for a second. All right, so the way I have my two golf balls here set up, this one is set up, actually I guess I shouldn't have tossed that aside just yet. This one's set up here as if I was getting ready to hit a golf ball into my screen. The second golf ball I have set up, it's spaced out by a grip length on the outside. Now I can toss this aside. So, nice toss, Jerry. All right, so that golf ball, this golf ball set up where I need it. The two alignment rods, all I'm going to do is I'm going to put one across my collarbone, and I'm very, very picky when I'm about this, right? I say collarbone, it's not middle of our chest. It's not down around my rib cage. It is up high on my collarbone and across my shoulders. The second stick that I'm going to hold on to, I'm just going to kind of put it where around my waist or where my belt buckle would be. And from here, I'm just going to go ahead and get in the posture. I feel like for a lot of players, they instantly feel like it's here. And you can see now, like my sticks have kind of more or less leveled out towards the ground. When I also do that, though, from this posture, I also start to stand up. So I'm getting away from the ground. So for my players that top the golf ball or struggle with like thin shots, this would definitely probably be a great cause of that, coming up and out of posture. This is also when people tell me they're like, oh, I stood up in my golf swing. Well, yeah, you did. The way you turned is physically standing up. So this is where the two golf balls come into play, right? So if I get back down into posture, the second golf ball that I have out here, I want to get the stick that I have on my shoulders and my collarbone. I want to get that stick to point at that golf ball as I take the club back. And if you notice when I do that, my hip also points kind of down, and there's a nice angle to the line that I have on my hips. I'm not leveled out and getting away from the ground. I'm staying down and pointing towards the ground. So when we talk about good ball striking, this is part of understanding how to turn, right? So again, let's just kind of review that. When I'm in posture, I want that shoulder line to point at my golf ball that I have out here, okay? That is a good way to make sure that I'm staying in posture, and it's a good way to start understanding kind of like what turning is going to feel like. Now, let's dive into kind of like how I create that turning motion. If I turn towards the camera here, if you watch my left knee, okay, so in my case as a right-handed player, my left knee is my lead knee, all right? I want that knee to turn not just down and over my toes, but because you notice when I do that, I lean forward and I put a lot of pressure into that left leg. I actually want this lead knee to turn kind of in. I like to think of it somewhere kind of going in and towards the middle of my body. So my knee is going to go in that way, pointing somewhere over here, okay? So instead of my knee going straight forward, I want my knee to flex, but it's also twisting in. You'll also notice what's going to happen on my right side here, or my trail leg for other players, right? My right leg, though, for as the right-handed player, my right knee is going to retract or slightly straighten back, okay? I'm not going to lean away from it, all right? But I could definitely tell you as I do this, as I'm turning and this knee works in, I feel more pressure on the ball of my left big toe, and I feel a lot more pressure on the inside of my right heel as my right knee retracts. So as I turn towards the golf ball, and I get back over here, and I let my left knee flex in kind of towards the golf ball right now, and my right knee slightly retract, you can see now my body starts to rotate. Now it's a lot easier for me to have these angles and be in better posture. If my knees stay too flexed as the club goes back, I'm going to want to start to stand up to try and create motion because I can tell you right now, I don't have enough flexibility to keep both of my knees that flexed and make a good full turn. That's about as much turn as I'm going to get out of me. If I let my right knee right now start to retract, though, now the amount of turn that I get is immensely increased. Okay. So, how we start to operate those lower bodies, more specifically the knees where things start to point, is very, very crucial for how you start to rotate. All right. Now, in terms of how we start to practice that, I'm going to toss my sticks aside for a second. Actually, I'm going to hold on to this yellow one, I think. As I get set up to my golf ball, you guys have seen me talk a little bit about this before. I'm going to place that stick about 30 degrees off my trail foot and kind of get set up here. Now, what I like to do here, I'm going to make little half swings. And again, I'm going to go to P3, or where my lead arm is parallel to the ground. So it should kind of be matching the stick I have down here on the ground. And when I get there, I want to make sure that my left knee, or my lead knee, has flexed more in. And in this case, I'm going to use the golf ball as a reference point just because it's in the middle of my stance. So I want my knee to be turning at that golf ball, and my trail leg has already started to extend some. There's going to be some bend there, and even at the top of my backswing, if I continue from 3 all the way to 4, my right leg's going to only extend a little bit more. It's not going to fully lock itself out. If it gets to this point, yeah, I've got a lot of hip turn, but this knee being locked out has basically made this leg inusable going in the downswing, and that's just not a great thing. So we want to have a little bit of flex maintained in this trail knee, but it's not the full flex that I start with, okay? So understanding how that starts to work, I think it's great to do in like these kind of little half motions. And again, this is working. It's a gradual change in the lower body. I don't just start moving the club and whip my knees back and kind of like force them into position. It's gradually happening as the club is traveling throughout the motion. Okay. So as I learn how to control that, it's going to make it easier for me to understand exactly what I want and how that's going to feel. And then when I start to transition to actually hitting golf balls doing that, it'll make things a lot easier. Again, before I even try hitting a ball, I'm going to kind of kick that out of the way. I'm going to get back into the setup here. And again, I'm going to kind of just gradually let my lead knee flex towards the middle, my trail knee slightly extend, and just trying to make sure that left arm gets kind of matching that stick on the ground. And from there, I'm going to start making kind of, in my opinion, what feels like pitch shots. And just start trying to brush the ground. That was kind of shitty contact, but oh well. The good thing the ball wasn't there. Let's do it again. And again, just let those knees gradually change, flex as I get up there to that left arm parallel. And then from there, try and make better contact this time with the ground. That was better. Okay. And as I just start to get better feel for that, again, I can put a golf ball in place. And even before I hit one here, as I get up into that P3 position right there, gradually let my knees start to change. Stop right about there. If I ever need to check myself, I can grab my golf club right now and put it across my chest. And honestly, it should be pointing back out here at this golf ball, that second one that I had set up. If I was up here, now I'm already out of posture. If I was too much inside, I can tell you that's probably not going to feel very comfortable for most people. So you'll notice that's just not right. So it's just a nice way to also, it's just another little checkpoint, right? Basically, right? So again, as I kind of keep going, boom, cool. My shoulder feels pretty good. This feels pretty good. And then I can just kind of start to chip balls out and try and make contact. And well, cool. We're just going to start to make little chip shots and just start adding speed as I feel more comfortable with that. But that's a good place to start for a lot of players. So, you know, when we start talking about speed and how to hit the ball further, higher, learning how to properly turn can also play a big factor in that. So, what you'll kind of notice here, in the top right corner. I don't know how much of that you can actually see in the video, but I've got some data kind of coming up off some of these shots. And off that little chip shot I just made, my club speed was about 37 miles an hour, 36.9 to be exact. The ball speed was 50 miles an hour. So with a very little swing, not a lot of effort, I felt like I generated a decent amount of force. If I start adding speed to that, so again, if I go back, gradually let it wind up, and this time we're going to feel like, I don't know, let's go like 20% faster. Caught a little chunky, but again, it's more about how it feels from a speed perspective. So from there, let's see how we did. Club speed went to 53, ball speed went to 61. All right, well, let's see if we can go a little bit faster. And gradually wind up. Add speed, that was a little better. All right, so now the ball is going to start to fly. It's still not going to make it all the way to that green right now. But as I start getting more and more comfortable, let's see, speed-wise, club speed went to 66, ball speed went to 89. So you can see it's gradually starting to climb as I start to work through this. The more speed I start to add as I get more and more comfortable with that, I can slowly start to work my way closer and closer to the green I have. But I can also start to see a nice little speed increase. That one went to 76 miles an hour club speed. Ball speed was around 100. So again, didn't hit it fully flush, but that's nice to see the club speed starting to jump up. Let's see if we give this one a full go. Let's see what we get. Yeah, not perfect contact, but better speed. So finally made it to the green too. Yay! Right. So even for a miss hit, that was clearly a better shot. So again, club speed now almost 83 miles an hour. It's at 82.9, and ball speed again at 107. So again, a little bit of a miss hit, but it's allowing me to start adding more and more speed as I get comfortable with it. The other thing that's interesting too about this, though, as I get better with rotation, this bottom number right down there, that's measuring the path of my golf swing, or the club path. The club path becomes a lot easier to swing it slightly inside to out. You notice most of the misses I had up here had all some sort of little right to left or drawing pattern for me. And a lot of that has to do because I have decent rotation. It allows the club path to get more inside to out. If I hit one for you guys real quick and I don't really turn a whole lot, it becomes more this arm swing, and my arms lift the club. And then from there, when I hit this, it's a thin shot way out to the right. And now let's see what that club path number was. Club path number was out to in 4.5 degrees. Okay, so when we start talking about why people slice the golf ball or potentially just have, piss poor contact, has a lot to do with what we're talking about here today. All right, so in summary, in order to make good rotation, a lot of it has to do with how I utilize my lower body, understanding that my lead knee is turning in and kind of towards the middle of my stance. My trail knee is starting to retract, but it's not locking itself out. They're still maintaining a little bit of flex in that knee. You should feel pressure in the lead big toe, or the ball of the lead big toe, and just inside of the trail heel. This will start to allow players to add more speed to their swing and hit the ball further, which, I mean, who doesn't want that? But more importantly, I think this will be a great roadmap for players to start eliminating their ability to slice the golf ball. So if you have any questions about what this stick's all about, I highly suggest checking out the previous video where we kind of talk about building a better backswing using, using these alignment rods. I think the video beforehand was, check these positions now. So I highly suggest checking that out, because this is where this will get into more detail there and probably tie in the turning aspect for today along with that. So, but yeah, if you have any questions, as I said at the start of this video, drop them down in the comments. I'll get to as many questions as I can, and hopefully these videos continue to help you guys. See you in the next one.